Yo. Thanks again for checking out another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Then again, you should know that by now. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. You can find the podcast just about anywhere. We're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, Google Play, YouTube, Overcast FM, Pocket Cast. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you have no reason not to subscribe. All right. So on today's podcast, I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to be talking about dating. Dating 101. I'm going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts, how you should handle yourself on a date. And we got a special co-host coming through. Very, very good friend of the podcast, my homegirl Chantay. And before the podcast is done, we're going to hit her with the dozens and get all in her business. So I tell you what, sit tight. We're going to drop the theme music and we're going to get the podcast cracking. Let's go. Welcome back to the show. Thanks again for checking out the podcast. I'm the host with the most, 12 Kyle. That's me. You're listening. I'm in your ears. I'm in your speakers right now. As I mentioned at the top, man, we have a special guest joining us tonight. She is no stranger to me, at least. Good friend. We've been friends for a long time. Man, we go back like dollar hoagies and Tahitian treats. We go back like peanut butter and jelly. She is a mother. She is an author. She is a businesswoman. She is the sole collector of the LaToya Luckett bobblehead collection. She once tried out for the group Girl Time and didn't make the cut. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my homegirl, H-Town's own, Chantay. Chantay, what up?
What's up?
You like your intro?
Bobbleheads, though?
Yeah, you got to limited edition,
I go hard
man.
for my city, but I don't collect LaToya Luckett bobbleheads.
Limited edition, man. Nobody else have them but you. What's good?
So limited, I don't even have them.
We are talking about dating 101. Now, if you're familiar with me and you're familiar with how we used to get down on the 12 radio show, this is the 12 Kyle podcast. Similar situation, but just a little bit doper, a little bit fresher. So I got Chantay on here. We're talking about dating. So let's start right here, man. Dating 101. So you're single. You're out in the streets, in the Houston streets. How much fun, if it any, is it to be dating in 2016?
You know, it all depends on where you are mentally. Like in my stage where I was wilding and, partying and drink, like it was fun. Like no commitments, no strings, not really looking for anything. It was dope, super, super dope. Mm-hmm. But now, settling down and looking for something more serious, a bit more of a commitment. And I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's not particularly fun either. Like everybody's so afraid of commitment now. Everybody's so afraid of being played that, they become emotionally inept. People don't know how to communicate anymore. It ain't cool to be honest. Like I'm very black and white. I don't like gray areas. So if I'm feeling a particular way or I expect a certain thing, I just put it all out on the table, and sometimes that kind of scares people away. So it's like, do I filter or do I not filter? Right. So for me, it's not that fun today. It's not, and I get hit on all the time But it's like, yeah, you're not what I'm looking for, because I know if I unleash all of this that's in my head, my mind, my spirit, my soul, you won't be able to handle it, because I'm much more than just what you physically see.
Gotcha. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because like, and the reason why I wanted to start there is because, you know, with me being married, it's like I have some of my partners who are still single. You know, like they always tell me like, yo, man, it's been a minute since you've been out the game, man. Things are different out here in these streets. And I'm like,
it is different.
Like, yeah, whatever. I was like, you know, if I were single, I would be the Mac. at least that's what I tell them. But you know, it's like hearing their stories. It's always something like, and so I can definitely appreciate that perspective, because you know they you know talk a little bit about a bit of frustration as well.
It's very different. And like some of the men that I talk to that I'm just platonically involved with, or men that have tried to holler, but I'm like, you know what, it's better off if we're just friends. They share like the same frustrations. They're tired of being, you know, meal tickets, like literal meal tickets. Like, women only hitting them up when they want to go out to eat, or, you know, when they're bored or they need some attention, but nothing lasting. You know, everything is so superficial these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it truly is a different dating game in 2016. Now you mentioned that. Now, so I guess if we start there, my next question is like, what are some of the pros to dating? I mean, like there has to be some good that comes out of this, right?
From my experience in dating, some of the pros, I guess living in Houston, I get to learn a little bit more about my city, you know, dating guys from different parts of the city and finding some of the hidden gems in the city. And I know that sounds so superficial and so not important.
Yeah, you said it, I didn't.
But you know, the next guy you meet, like, you know what, I know this cool little spot in Midtown.
Right. Let me take you over here where my man Craig and them be at.
Right. How you find this spot? Oh, you know, my homegirl.
Right.
But on the flip side, I've learned a lot about myself in dating. After my divorce, you know, I didn't date for a very long time. And once I got out there, I was out there. And so I don't really have a particular type. So I kind of, you know, dated around different kinds of men or whatever. And I found out more about myself, you know, where I was more closed-minded, where I was really open-minded. And meeting different people, just in general, outside of dating, it forces you to examine you for who you really are.
Okay.
So I've learned a lot about myself through dating and how to be more tolerable and tolerant of different personality types and different kinds of people, you know.
Do you think, you said learning more about yourself, do you think that helped you kind of grow as a person?
Definitely. Especially when I, you know, got with men that weren't afraid to check my papers and call me out on my shit. Like that was definitely an eye opener. No, as women, sometimes, you know, men are so, you know, overly passive and, you know, become pacifists, right, you know, just to get some ass, that they tell you whatever you want to hear. But when you meet those men that don't care about that, or they do care about it, but not to the point where they're going to like not be who they are, it's a real eye opener. Like not everybody's going to kiss your ass. Right. And lie to you about you know. So
you would prefer that they shoot you straight?
Yes, okay. Definitely.
Okay. Definitely can appreciate that. So now, what are some of the cons to dating?
Not being able to readily dig beneath the surface of people, like getting past the superficiality and getting to know the true person. You know, everybody's so, not everybody, but you know, most people are so guarded that vulnerability has become a thing of the past. Like, what is that? You know, nobody knows how to be vulnerable anymore or open. And we're not human anymore. Like, we've lost that human touch that, you know, allows us to connect. And ultimately, the point of being human is to connect with other humans. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's like a big missing element. Nobody can relate anymore on a deeper level other than all this superficial surface shit that, you know, you can find that on the internet. Right. Like I can connect with you, you know, through Facebook for that, you know.
Right. So now, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I guess the question is, at least from a male's perspective, is, you know, what it, particularly, and I try to, let me just try to put myself in a situation. Let's say if I were single, and I was out there dating. So my question would be like, if it's so many women out here, and it's a lot of women out here that you know, that have a lot of things going for themselves, when or why should I make myself vulnerable to just kind of put it on lay it on the line when, you know, ultimately I don't want to get played?
That's everybody's fear of being played. But I mean, you can get played in business, you can get played in your job. It's like relationships are no different. I think once we get past that fear of being hurt or played, you know, like you can really begin to live authentically. And like, yes, you can stay reserved and not put all that out there on the table, but are you really living when you do that? Like you're living a superficial, really non-existent kind of life because you aren't really tapping into you know, because of that fear of being played. So if you want something real and to find out if somebody can really be down with you, like all the way down with you, and even go back and, you know, come here, let me heal you kind of stuff, you have to be open. You have to be vulnerable if you're looking for that woman that ultimately is a woman and is nurturing, and allow her to be nurturing and heal the parts of you that she can heal.
Okay.
Like, who doesn't want that?
You made it sound real dope. I'm like, okay. Well,
like, come here, boy, let me heal you. Just lay your head right here and let me heal
lay
you.
your head on my pillow and just relax.
Exactly.
Shout out to Tony.
Tell him about your childhood.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so now dating, as I mentioned, is at the time of this recording is 2016. How different is dating, you know, at this point in time as opposed to 5, maybe 10 years ago? I know you mentioned that you were divorced, so for those who don't know, you've been divorced for a while, but you know, even when that time, even when you were married, if we go back 10 years, you know, how different is it nowadays as opposed to 5, 10 years ago?
It's missing that realness, that, like I said before, the human touch. Like, what happened to handwritten letters or even phone calls? Everything is a damn text message. Don't fucking text me.
Are you
all
serious?
The time. Can I hear your voice? You know, is it cool to pick up the phone and call you? Like, can you come see me? Can we go out and not just hang? You know, I don't want to be the come over and chill chick.
Netflix,
you know, the
chill.
Netflix and chill shit. And yes, that is real. Like, nobody wants to be the come over and chill chick in the situationships. Like, it's changed drastically. Men don't really court anymore. You know, once they get your phone number, courting is done via text. You know, how romantic is that?
You know, and that's why I think, like, I probably wouldn't have fit in. I couldn't be in the game like that, because I guess it's because I'm a little bit older and I'm from a different era. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm from the go together era. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
When we were kids, you know, I'd be like, yo, you want to go together? And now we don't know where we were going, but we just asked, could we go together?
Exactly.
And, you know, and it was about, you know, and it was, you know, obviously pre-internet. So it was, you know, there weren't any cell phones or text messages or anything like that. So you wasn't sending emails or anything like that. But I think you make a great point. And I've talked on previous shows and things about, you know, how, and I've even written blogs about it, about how we as men kind of lost that element of courting. Part of it is technology, part of it's society, but that's something that I think is passed down from generation to generation. And there's a generational gap, you know, particularly and I'm only going to speak for black men because I don't know white men.
Right.
but there's a generational gap. I mean, and even in, you know, and not to make it long, but even when you think about music, when I listen to Marvin Gaye, when I listen to some of his music and stuff like that, he talked about how he opened himself up to be vulnerable towards a woman, and it kind of taught you how to, and you listen to, you know, some of the songs and music from the 70s and 80s, it kind of taught you about how to romance a woman, to mac a woman. You know what I mean? So you got an idea from that. Not only did you get it from the music, but then you got it from your dad, or you got it from your uncle, or maybe your granddad. You got it from as I'm speaking from a male's perspective, you got it from the men in your life that were around you. And then subsequently it filtered out through your boys and your crew and everybody that you ran with. So, then we have the generational gap, and then technology happens. And like you said, I mean, what you just said is very telling. A guy gets your phone number and then it goes to, I would be annoyed as shit if somebody texts me like, yo, you want to go out? No,
exactly. And then they get mad when they're like, you don't return texts. Fuck no, pick up the phone and call me. I get 50 million texts a day from niggas just like you. Call me.
Right. Yeah, no, you gotta pick up. And it's funny because like we both have sons. And like my oldest son, he's 17, and I remember he was, about to break up with this girl, and he was like, "Well, I'm going to send her a text." I was like, "No, you don't do that." And he was like, "What's wrong?" He was like, "I said, but you call her." I said, "You don't break up with." I said, "Just like you wouldn't ask anybody out via text." I said, "Man, that's the problem." I said, "You have to understand," and that was my teaching moment as a father. Like, look. This is how you do it. If you want to talk to a woman, I mean, don't get me wrong. I text people all the time. I text my wife, text everybody, text all my friends, the whole nine. But at some point, because I've always said that things can get lost in translation via text.
Exactly.
So, that is mind-boggling that somebody would ask for a date via text.
And I commend you for that, by the way. Thank you for that. Thank you for teaching him.
You got to, because if you don't, then I'm gonna, I feel like I'll be raising little suckers. That's
right.
That's not what I want. I want my sons to understand, like, this is how you go about it. Now, you have your own twist as far as how you want to, approach a woman and what you're gonna say and everything like that. But not just talking to a woman, but I think it's good to talk on the phone because you learn how to talk.
Exactly.
learn how to talk in front of people.
So many men these days don't know how to talk. Women too don't know how to talk, don't know how to communicate. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm a big.
And when they do call you, it's like you're just holding the phone, like, okay.
So you want to go out? Yeah. Yeah. So how was your day? Like, nah,
right.
Let's talk. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about the world. That's mind-boggling. But so fellas, if you're listening, do not send text messages asking for a date. Do not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. You're making us look bad.
Very bad.
So now, speaking of text messages, the internet, social media, how has that changed the game? Because I know, like, we all know it goes down in the DMs.
It does, definitely.
And I'm sure someone such as yourself, get, a couple DMs every now and then, So how has that changed dating?
For me, it hasn't. Like, hit me up in my DM is like, I mean, it's pretty much a failed task from the beginning. Like, it's pretty much a foiled plan because I rarely ever take anybody in my DMs seriously.
Okay.
Ever.
Gotcha.
So it's not really a game changer for me.
Okay, so it's not a game changer for you. So, when the DMs come, do you ever what is your reaction? Because, like you said, you don't necessarily entertain them, but I'm pretty sure that women, or you may have friends that do. What is the response or reaction when guys try to get at them via DM?
You know what? I don't have girlfriends that really get. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about like getting hit in the DM or whatever. Not really. I'm a little bit different from most of my girlfriends.
You don't say. Oh man, that's interesting. That is interesting. Well, that's good. That's good. At least you're not in that number.
But I can say, like, only speaking for myself, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to who I respond to and who I don't respond to. If I'm kind of digging you, a little bit, then I might respond to you. But if not, I'll read just enough to see what you're saying, to not check that box to let you know I saw it.
So fellas, take notes. It does not always go down in the DM. All right, so check this out. Right, if you were giving advice, right now we have tons of men all across the country, all across the world listening to this podcast, because it's a dope podcast, modestly speaking. If you giving it advice to a man when on a date, what are some do's that they should do?
Pay attention.
Okay.
Listen, like attentively listen. If she's not holding your interest, then why are you even there? Ask don't ask the superficial questions, about her hair or her makeup. Yeah, those might be icebreakers, but ask about something other than work. Find out what's important to her and ask those questions. I feel like when you talk about other people or allow people to talk about themselves, it makes them a lot more comfortable and freer and a little bit more vulnerable to you. So talk about her, or if you're talking about you, don't talk about your job or your money or your car, all this superficial stuff like, you're no different than anybody else, Tell me what makes you you, what makes you tick, what do you love, what do you hate, who are you when nobody is looking? Like when you're at home by yourself, who is that man? Just dig below the surface.
Okay. I like that answer. I like that. That's very good. I think, and I've said this before too, asking open-ended questions, not the something that's going to get a response of yes or no.
Right.
Open-ended questions, open-ended thought-provoking questions. I think it's very, very key. Very, very key. Now on the flip side, if you're giving advice to a man listening right now, when on a date, what are some don'ts?
We already discussed the one, like, don't talk about your superficial stuff and that corny, just not really knowing how to talk to a woman type stuff. Like, don't do that. Some other don'ts. My biggest pet peeve is talking about money on a first date. Please don't talk about how much money you have or don't have.
Really?
Or the car you drive.
Dudes still out here doing that?
Yes, you would be surprised. Like, don't do that. Please don't. And don't expect ass on the first night just because you pay for a meal. I'd rather pay for my own meal than to have you expect that, and that overly touchy-feely. If the chemistry ain't mutual, like, don't touch me too much.
Okay, so now I've read some magazines, and in some magazines they suggest, I've read this several times, they suggest that men, like let's say you're walking out of a door and he holds the door open or whatever for you, but he puts his hand like on the small of your back, not on your ass, not on your shoulder, but the small of your back, more in a comforting way, kind of guiding you out the door. Is that okay, or is that like
if the first date for me personally? No, I don't like people touching me that I don't really know. Like if we've gone out a couple of times, yes, it's comforting, it's securing. But if you're like just getting to know me, don't touch me. Please.
Okay. Point taken. So
other women may feel differently, but me is like, it's too much, too soon. Like, don't touch me.
All right, so no money talk, no touching. Any other don'ts that you should not do on a date?
Don't down your ex-girlfriends or ex-wives or, any of that. Like, if you must bring them up, please do it in a positive light. If that's the first thing you talk about and you sound like this angry black man ranting about every other woman in your life, that's a red flag for me to, like, chunk you to deuces, I'm out.
Like, yeah, like, you're not going to be over here talking bad about me in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Oh, man, that's funny. I agree. I think that's very poor taste. And it's funny that you mentioned that because, like, I just remember years and years, man, it's got to be at least 10 years ago, that was the thing, like, for guys to be out talking about how much money. I didn't know guys were still out here doing it. Maybe it's because my single friends don't do that. So, I think, how
Wait,
much.
where are your single friends? Are they all in Atlanta?
No, I'm not introducing my single friends to you. I know you. And what's funny is like, I always get that. Like my boys would be like, "Yo, man, who is that?" I'll give you a perfect example. Like somebody, it's like maybe a couple weeks ago, I posted something on Facebook, and one of my boys saw somebody comment on one of the pictures. He was like, "Yo, man, who is that?" I was like, "Oh, that's such and such." "Oh, man, she's dope. She's cute. Where she live?" I was like, "She lives in Atlanta." And they were like, "Yo, man, you need to hook me up." I'm like, "No, I'm not hooking you up." I was like, what I can do, I will. We can go to a set, and then like if she's at the set and you're at the set, I'll introduce you. I stopped trying to play matchmaker a long time ago.
Good, because everybody sucks at playing matchmaker. Don't do that.
And I'm the worst. And I don't want, it's funny because like one of my homegirls, she was like, you need to introduce me to some of your single friends. I was like, I would if they were about something. I was like,
oh, damn.
I mean, but I meant that jokingly, but it's not that they're not about something. It's just that, I know like a couple of them, they're not in that space where they're ready to commit.
Right.
So
I can respect that.
Yeah, if I know that you're ready to commit, and I know that my boys are ready to play, and they're not really looking to settle down, I'll introduce y'all, but that's about it. Because I don't want that on me.
Right.
I'm not.
You hear all the sad sob stories. Man, you're a boy. Your boy.
Exactly. The boy ain't shit. I'm like, okay.
Right.
I could have told you that. He just wanted to hit it and quit. Okay. I mean, I could have told you that too. I mean, hey, it is what it is. So, all right. So now we got the do's and the don'ts, fellas. So make sure that you're taking notes. I tell you what, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we get back on the other side of the break, we're going to ask some little bit deeper questions to my girl Chantay. It's your man 12 Kyle, the 12 Kyle podcast. We'll be back in just a second. Hold tight.
Is that iced tea?
Nope, it's lemonade.
Is that iced tea?
Lemonade.
Iced tea.
What's with these people, man? Lemonade. Read the sign. Lemonade. Read it.
Okay.
Delicious.
Iced tea at a lemonade stand? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Marin saved by switching to Geico.
It's lemonade, man.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
And we're back. Back in the building. Got my girl Chantay in the building. We're talking about dating 101. All right, here's a question for you. If you're a widower, how soon should it be before you reveal to someone that you're a widower? Should you do it on the first date, the second date, the first date, the second or fourth date, or later than the fifth date?
I think it really wouldn't matter when you reveal it. It's not like one of those things. Well, I don't think it would be one of those things that like makes or breaks a relationship. It's not like you're saying, "Oh yeah, I just slept with my baby daddy last night." Like, that's something you don't want to reveal. I mean, damn. Well, I'm just saying. I don't think it's really. It might be important, but it's not like unless you're dating somebody and that's a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
To have never been with anybody that's been married.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it being a problem on the first day.
Okay. I think that's one that I think people wouldn't have a problem expressing on the first day or even hearing about it. I mean, of course, the next question would be, okay, if you're a widower, then when did they die?
Right.
If they died, 2 months ago.
You might want to pump your brakes.
Yeah, I might want to fall back a little bit, B. This ain't gonna
exactly.
work. Especially if I'm looking for something a little bit more serious. Now, if you say you're a widower and you were married, for 5 years and you've been a widower for 7 years or something like that, that's different. I'm cool with that because that means to me that means you're ready. You're prime.
You've healed. You've
exactly.
gotten over.
Exactly. You're not gonna use me to get over
As
the
a
death
rebound.
of your. Yeah, exactly. I'm not no rebound. I'm not no Dennis Rodman.
Right.
Next question. if you're divorced, and you are, how soon should you reveal it? Before the first date, between the second and fourth date, or later than the fifth date?
Like me personally, it's not really a big deal. So like when, in the getting to know you phase before we even go out and they're like, tell me a bit about you, and I mention my kids or whatever. I mentioned the fact that I'm divorced because it's, some people that is a deal breaker. Like I don't want to be involved with someone that's been married, and if that's you, that's cool and fine. Mm-hmm. At least up front what you're getting into. Like I don't see it being an issue.
Okay. Divorce. Is that have you found that to be a deal breaker for some men?
Me personally, no. But I do know some women, who don't want to date men who have, previously been married. For me, it's not a big deal as long as you're not still banging the ex-wife. But, it's not.
Trust me,
and I guess because
most men won't. Because she probably took more than the kitchen sink. So if they want to touch her, they probably want to put their arms around their hands around their throat. Although we do not condone violence.
You never know. People do anything to get that child support lowered. I'm just saying.
Stupid. That is stupid. But I agree. I think that's something that is warranted probably in the initial conversations that you have with someone. Because you want to kind of get it, and I think that's one thing that we've always talked about when I was doing the 12 radio show was like, when do you, because obviously you don't want to be on a date and somebody just tell you their whole life story on the first date. Now, has that ever happened to you where a guy just spilled the beans, just told you his whole life story on the first date?
Yes, and I'm like, pump your brakes on me, pump your brakes.
I can't imagine that. I understand. I guess that goes back to the vulnerability.
No, and it would happen even before the date, like the first conversation. I can't find a good woman, and I do this, and I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? You're the common denominator.
Yeah, man. You know my motto. When it comes to dating and relationships in particular, it's if there's constantly issues, then it's either one or two things. It's either the selection or your execution. One of the two. So either you can't pick them or you can't keep them. One of the two. And it's not to say that everybody, needs to be with somebody or everybody needs to be in a relationship. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like sometimes we get into, and what I mean by we as people, we get into dating ruts or relationship ruts, and sometimes we kind of gotta look in the mirror.
True, very true.
Because that's what
I believe you are what you're attracted to. Mm-hmm. So if you keep attracting the same kind of people, you might want to self-examine yourself.
Okay, so that leads me to a question. The whole, and I know this may have been like late 90s era, early 2000s, but the drug dealer thing. And I'm not saying you
talking about my post.
I'm not. No, there was a post about drug dealers.
Oh, never mind.
I didn't see it, or maybe I did. You can elaborate. So if you were attracted to let's just say since you brought it up, multiple drug dealers back in the day or even now, your personality does not fit to be somebody what would be the appeal of a drug dealer to you, Chantay?
Outwardly, absolutely nothing. But funny you mentioned that. Almost every man I have ever been seriously involved with has been a D-boy, but I didn't know about it until after the fact. I
am shocked. I did
and
not
one
know
even
that.
told me, you make the perfect drug dealer's girlfriend. I'm like, why? It's because you're smart, you're sexy, and you're low-key. And I'm like, so that warrants me being the perfect drug dealer's girlfriend?
Yeah, perfect one to get sit up the river.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So
I had a down-ass chick back in the day, bro.
Right. But no, outwardly nothing about a drug dealer would attract me. I don't want that. I don't want to be up worrying about if my man's going to come home at night or, I don't want that life.
Right. So you found out afterwards. You never knowingly dated Nino Brown?
Never.
Okay.
Not knowingly, no. But have I dated him? Hell yeah.
Okay. So that's
multiple times over.
So now I got it. When we're done with this podcast, I got to go back and look at your post to find the post about the drug dealer, so I can get some insight of that. The next question: if you are a parent, and which you are, how soon do you reveal that before going out on the first date? Before the first date, second, the fourth date, or later than the fifth date?
Before the first date, because
Okay.
that's important to me.
Okay.
And I have 2 boys, and they're my everything. And if you can't deal with somebody that has children, then you might as well go ahead and keep it moving.
Now,
And
your
by the
boys
same
are-
measure, I ask too, because if you I don't mind a person with kids, but if you have 5 kids, 3 different baby mamas, and they all stair steppers, 3, 4, and 5, I might not be able to do it.
all that means that you're good at shooting the club up. You're good at shooting the club up, and you might be next.
Right.
You just might be next. So now that leads me to another question. And how old are your boys?
They are 12 and 16.
Okay, yeah, so you got grown ass men.
I do.
So at what point, or does there become a point where, because most women and men, they really don't want to have a parade of members of the opposite sex or members of the same sex, if that's how you get down, in front of their children. So at what point do you figure, or do you feel like it's okay to bring them around, or at the very least introduce them?
I don't know if I can adequately answer that, because my sons, I've never let them be around or even get to know anybody that I've dated. And I know this sounds like slut shaming or whatever, but I never wanted my boys to look at me as a hoe. Mama had this dude in the house or that dude in the house. If that's how you get down, that's how you get down. No judgment from me. But I never wanted my children to see me in that light. So I was always very protective of them. I don't bring men around them. They don't know of anybody. They may know of them, but they don't know them.
You just sneak them out of the house before they wake up.
Well, no, it's you're not here. None of that. I'm not even putting myself in a predicament for it to maybe possibly happen.
Right. They go into the bathroom and all they see is size 12 Timbs.
Right. No, none of that.
In the living room. Oh man, that's funny. But no, that I think that's key. It's a very slippery slope. I think just speaking as a parent myself, I agree. You don't want to have a parade. Even my boys who have kids that are single, they never have a parade of women coming in and out of the crib or anything like that. It's in front of their kids. And I have one of my partners. He won't. His thing is he will not introduce his child to another woman until he's about ready to propose. So he's like,
right, and I feel that. I can totally
respect. When he gets to that point, he's like, then he'll, kind of work them in and kind of give them a chance to get to know them and so forth and so on. But he doesn't. He's like, I don't care how many. His motto is, I don't care how many women I run through. He's like, my kids won't see it. So I think that's cool.
Yeah,
not cool that he's running through a lot of women, but just
right. I get it. I totally get it.
Oh man. So let me see. Next question. Along those same lines, if you have an STD, how soon should you reveal it? Before the first date, during the first date, second or fourth date, or later than the fifth date?
I think it's definitely important to bring that up before he smashed.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is funny.
If you plan on letting him smash, you might want to throw that in,
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm the guy and I've got herpes, at what point should I tell you?
Oh,
that?
you mean something like that? I thought you meant something curable.
No, I'm not talking like AIDS,
and...
but I mean AIDS could fall up under that too. I mean, if everybody get down. I'm just saying, if I'm a guy and I got herpes, I got the clap or whatever. It's always funny to say the clap. I've always joked at saying that ever since I was like 13. If I got some type of STD, I'm burning. At what point should I reveal that to a woman?
Oh God, that's a tricky one. As a woman, I would want to know up front.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get to know a person for who he or she really is, that might be something you can deal with. And then if it's not revealed at the beginning, you might feel like you were duped or bamboozled. So, damn, that's a tricky one. But me personally, if it was me, I would probably let him know right before I knew he was, really starting to fall for me. I feel like that's only fair.
Okay. Definitely let him know before he get the draws.
Hell yeah.
All right, before we go home, I got something to tell you. Oh man, that is so funny. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I thought about that for a while when I wrote it down. It's like you want people to be upfront and honest, and I think I wouldn't necessarily, maybe not on the first date, but
yeah, maybe not, because like if you reveal it on the first date and it doesn't go anywhere, then like you potentially put all your business out there. Because
trust me, she gonna tell everybody.
Exactly. You know what this dude told me? Yeah.
This dude hotter than the 4th of July. Oh,
and I planned on doing this.
Right. Oh man, so that's just a little tip out there for you guys and gals out there listening. Yeah, you want to play that one by ear, but you definitely want to do it before you get serious or before they get serious, and you most definitely want to do that before you jump in the sheets. I tell you what, let's take a quick commercial break, and before we get out of here, we got a segment on the 12 Kyle podcast for all of our guests called The Dozens. Now, you may ask what The Dozen is. Of course, this is the 12 Kyle podcast, so 12 is a dozen. The dozen, 12 random off-the-wall questions that are going to be asked to my girl Chantay. And they're going to be personal, they're going to be funny, and she's got to answer them, and she can't get around it. So, I tell you what, sit tight. We're going to grab a quick commercial, and we'll be right back with The Dozen.
Hey!
Hey,
Where are you going?
I got a date, Daddy.
Not in those pants. Blood cannot get up to your brain from your head. And besides, this is a school night.
It's Friday, Daddy.
Yeah, but did you go to school today?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a school night.
I asked Mom. She said I could go. Go ask her.
Ask Mom? I have to ask your mother? I don't have to ask anybody. Now go on in and change your pants. Thank you. Claire!
And we are back. Your man, 12 Kyle, in the building. Got my girl Chantay, H-Town representer. And we are talking about dating 101. As I mentioned in the front, it's time for the dozen. 12 random off-the-wall questions. She's got to answer them. And we're going to get all up in her business. I mean, all up in her business. All right. So since we're talking about dating, question 1. Where is the worst place that a guy took you for a date?
The worst place that I've ever been on a date. His mama house.
Are you serious? Like you got dressed up to go to some dude's mama house?
Cause that's where he lived, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it until I got there. But
Wait.
yeah.
Okay, so I need to kind of visualize this because you're not gonna get away with just that one answer. So how did this go down? I mean, like, did you get dressed up like you were about to go to out to dinner and a movie or something, and you just end up at Mom's crib?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Wow. But
Yeah.
you should be ashamed of yourself, Cole Brown. And if he's listening, please don't ever do that again. Damn. It's funny. I remember asking this question one time on Twitter, and one of my homegirls on Twitter, she said a guy took her to Burger King. I was like, are you serious? I mean, like, and this was like maybe 5 years ago. Somebody took her to Burger King. We're not in, this wasn't high school. So this is like, you know, she was in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. Burger King, yo. I ain't taking nobody to Burger King for lunch, let alone for a date. Are you serious? But anyway, I digress. Question 2. You go out on a first date. The date goes well. At the end of the date, the guy leans in to give you a kiss on the lips. What do you do?
I've only done that once, and our chemistry was so live, I allowed it. And then there are dates where I like literally swerve, like, no, homie, not tonight, not today.
See, that's why I couldn't be dating, man. Because if the chemistry and the vibe is there, I'm trying to get some tongue, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if the chemistry and the vibe is straight, you know, I'm down.
But what if he's feeling the vibe and the chemistry, but you ain't really feeling it like that?
You can always look at a woman and tell if she's feeling you like you think she's feeling you. Like, you know, it's all on her face, in her actions, her body language.
I'm pretty arrogant, so I think everybody's feeling me. So I'm gonna want to kiss regardless.
Whatever.
Like, yo, so you know, we ain't gotta necessarily smash the first night, but you know, I do want some esophagus or something. Come on.
No.
Anyway, we'll move on. Question 3. You go to a social with your date. You happen to run into a guy who you used to sleep with, but he wasn't your man. The guy notices you. He walks over to say hello. How do you play that situation?
I introduced him, you know, the guy I'm on a date with. Hi, this is Tony. Tony, this is whoever, you know, the guy I'm with, and that's it.
So you don't say, this is my date. You just say, hey, this is Tony. Tony, this is Bob.
It's just a date. He ain't my man, right?
Yeah, but you know that Bob, the guy that you used to sleep with, is going to want to know who this lame is that you're with.
He don't need to know. He's not my man either. Not your business. The world would be a much better place if people mind their own business.
Well, this is true.
And I am no longer your business.
Okay. Has that ever happened before?
No.
Okay. Question 4. You're in a car with your date. What is the worst kind of music that he could play to piss you off?
The worst kind of music to piss me off. Don't judge me. But I'm gonna have to say gospel music. I know, I'm a preacher's kid in church every Sunday.
I'm judging.
So it's true.
So you don't want to hear no Kirk Franklin or no Mary Mary or the Georgia Mass Choir.
If you playing gospel music, it better be some I love God. If you don't love God, play me some gospel trap music, please.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, I love God. The L-U-H, not even love.
Right. Oh, man, you surprised me because I knew you were going to say something else. Wow, that's funny. That is funny. So gospel music would pitch you the hell off. For me, it would be Chopped and Screwed. I'm not a fan of Chopped and Screwed.
I'm from Houston.
Of course you are. Y'all like that stuff. I don't. I remember the first time I heard it, I thought somebody had broken my tape deck. So
like maybe some Fat Pat, some UGK. We straight.
Yeah. I had to get something else. Nah, I can't do that. In fact, I would prefer to just my recommendation for guys, if you're on a date, play something soft. Either play something soft or don't play nothing at all.
True. Babyface, Chantay.
Yeah, play something soft. Good. If you don't have the music, go to the radio station. That's your best, or jazz. Something real smooth and light. Just because you never know what. And now you could be playing jazz, and if you got a woman that's kind of ratchet, she might be offended that you ain't playing Jeezy. I don't know, but hey,
Oh, Gigi is my shit.
I would not be playing Gigi on a date. Next question. Question 5. Which would you rather have? The guy who is sexually satisfying but intellectually stagnant, or the guy who is intellectually satisfying but sexually stagnant?
I would have to go with intellectually satisfying. Sex can be worked around.
Bullshit.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay. Claire, okay.
Well, I'm speaking for me. I'm speaking for me. Go ahead.
Well, I'm
but
saying, like,
I'm the old married guy.
Shut up. I mean, I can't sex a stupid man. Like, I don't. Just dry as a Sahara. I can't do it.
I feel you on that, and the reason why I say that is because, like, I really firmly believe, like, you know, especially when you're single, and you know, if you at some point in time in your life plan to procreate, you probably want to have a child with someone who's smart.
Exactly.
No matter how smart you are, you probably want to have a child with someone who's smart, because if you're bringing your child into this world, the least that you can give them is brains. You know,
this is true.
You know, that's the least that you get. You may not be able to give them $1 million. You may not be able to give them a trust fund, but give them brains. And the only way that you can do that is to procreate with someone who has a little bit of sense. Nothing worse than two dumb people having a child.
Oh my God. The worst.
Okay, good answer.
So I was going to answer that. Like, if he's working with something, but he just doesn't know how to work it, I can work with that. But he was working with nothing and he can't work it, I probably would just be by myself. Point taken.
Right.
I don't want to cheat on somebody I love.
Right, exactly. Question 6. Think back to when you were 17. Now, you mentioned that you have a 16-year-old son, so remember when you were 17 years old. Would you want your son to date the 17-year-old you? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I would love for my sons to date the 17-year-old me. I was not shy, but very headstrong. I knew what I wanted in life. Very intelligent. Great grades in school. Hadn't really dated a lot of guys. Like, I think I had my first real boyfriend, which turned into my ex-husband, when I turned 17.
Okay.
So I would definitely want my boys, you know, with the 17-year-old me.
Okay. Would I want a 17-year-old me was, you know, really, really cool. He was. I mean, of course, I'm still cool now, but.
You're so humble.
Yeah, I mean, but I was kind of shy, you know. I was just a choir boy, you know. I just didn't do. Let me stop lying on here. Now, I'm much. I don't think I was much different than how I am now. I was pretty laid back, pretty cool. So yeah, I would be cool with, you know, but I was sneaky, just like any other 17-year-old boy was.
Right.
So yeah, I would want that. I would let my daughter date the 17-year-old me, but I would tell her, you know, just watch him.
Right.
Just watch him. He's got a little shiftiness about him. You know, but I've always gotten good feedback from girls that I dated as parents and stuff like that. So everybody trusts me. So, you know, if you earn the parents' trust, then you good. So
same here. Everybody loves me.
All right. So question 7. Interested to hear this. I don't think we've ever talked about this before. What's the worst pickup line that you ever heard from a guy?
Oh, the one that absolutely burns me up to this day is, "Say, lil' mama, come let me holler at you." Like, bitch, no. Yes, I called you a bitch, and no.
Oh, that's so
Say,
funny.
lil' mama, come let me holler at you. Like, what the fuck?
Say, lil' mama, come let me holler at you. Say, lil' mama, let me come holler at you.
No, come let me holler at you.
Oh, come and let me holler at you. Or better yet, I could give you Southwest Atlanta. Hey, Shawty, let me holler at you for a second. Come here, let me holler at you. Come holler at the player. Come holler at the player.
I don't like that either.
That's Southwest Atlanta right there. Yeah, okay. And I've often said it's like I've never used the pickup line to try to talk to a woman. Never.
Good.
Because that's just not. It's, to be honest, it's never been my style. I don't knock cats who do it. It's just I was always, hey, how you doing? You know, like that. That's me. You know, my game is just, you know, it just sneaks up on you.
Boy, hush.
I don't want to overwhelm you with my game. Question 8. And you kind of touched on this a little earlier. When going out on a date, are you cognizant of how much money a man is spending on you, and does it matter?
No. It does matter if he's spending too much.
How much is too much?
Like if you dropping a rack, that's too much. That's too much. But okay, like this is a bit tricky for me because I've gone out with men, you know, whose financial situation wasn't ideal. Mm-hmm. So if we went out, 9 times out of 10, I was footing the bill.
Okay, so that's different.
Right, because I realized like if I want to spend time with you outside of the house, then, you know, I'm gonna have to, you know, pay.
Were you okay with that?
On the flip side, it felt really nice afterward to be with men where, you know, money really wasn't an issue. Mm-hmm. It's like, I just want to spend time with you. I don't go out of my way and ask for like stupid, dumb, expensive shit. You know, like we could just go to the hookah lounge and chill and you're buying all my drinks. I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. You know, okay. You don't have to take me to some super expensive restaurant and buy me like a $500 meal. $500? I'm just saying, you know.
That reminds me of that Chris Rock joke where he said, where he was like, he took a woman out and she was ordering from like the most expensive side of the menu. He was like, you do realize this is the fucking side.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's so funny.
I never go out of my way to, you know, order super dumb, stupid, expensive stuff just because a man is paying for it. That's so disrespectful.
Exactly. And you mentioned it earlier. You don't want a guy to feel like he's getting played. So
right.
Definitely understand that. Question 9. Let's say you meet a guy, you talk on the phone a few times, and he tells you, and we talked about this a little earlier, he tells you he has a few kids and a few baby mamas. What's the max on the kids and the baby mamas that you would be cool with?
Personally, I would prefer you have no more than 2 or 3 kids. Baby mamas, I would really hope you would limit that shit to just 1. I mean, too many baby mamas, too many women, you know, shit gets murky and everybody don't cooperate.
Okay, so, but do you view it any different if the baby mama is an ex-wife?
I do. Okay. Because there was some kind of commitment and, you know, it was serious. And it shows that you are capable of commitment and, you know, possibly taking a woman seriously. But just baby mamas, it could come across as you just randomly making babies. That may or may not be the case, but it just looks very irresponsible.
Yeah, then that's when they hit you with it, man. You just know, I'm just allergic to rubbers, man.
Right.
The lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life. I'm allergic to rubbers. Oh man, that's hilarious. There's a show that I watch on TV, and it's one of my favorite shows on TV. I'm not sure if you've seen it before, called Insecure. It's on HBO. Have you seen it before?
I haven't. My sister was telling me about it, but I don't really watch television.
You need to see it. Like I've been hooked like from day one, and it's giving me
too.
It's giving me so much because I don't operate necessarily in the single woman space, single dating woman space. So it's opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. So as I was watching that, I thought about this question, and get a chance, check out Insecure on HBO. It's every Sunday night at like 10:30. Very well written, very funny, and it's very nice to see black women on the screen. Yeah, I'm just pro-black. But anyway, good looking black women on the screen. Okay, how many girlfriends do you have that you tell the most intimate secrets about men, dating, and sex?
One.
Really? Just one?
Just one.
I thought that number would be. I thought that number would be higher for you.
Well, me, I'm a very private person. You know, I don't trust people. Like, you can be in my life forever. I don't trust everybody with my secrets because my image is very important to me. Mm-hmm. You know, and to most people, I'm really almost squeaky clean, and I don't need you knowing everything about me. Shut the hell
up. Okay. That's dope right there. That's dope. That show made me think about that question. Question 11. And this has been a previous topic on the 12 radio show, and I felt since this is the first one on the podcast, might as well bring it here. On average, just on average, how long do you think a woman can sleep with a man before she starts to catch feelings?
Depends on how the dick is. I'm sorry.
Let's say it's the best. It's just dope. It's that dopeness. It's everything.
She's a fucking goner. She never stood a chance.
So she's catching feelings like.
And that mouth is right. Yeah.
What that mouth do?
Exactly.
Cause like I got a partner, like he swears up and down, and I mean he's got a nice little track record, but I mean like his thing is this, like he always says, like, man, I never try to sleep with a woman more than 3 times, and I'm like, why? He's like, cause after the third time, yeah, he's like by the third time, he's like they start catching feelings. He's like, they want to spend the night, they want more. He's like, and I tell him up front, like, I don't want anything but a good time.
He's right. By the third time, like the third time he does it, just
yeah,
he's gone.
Here's his math. His math is like the first time you have sex is cool, and you're like, damn, I got it. It's nice. That was nice. You know, like you just
right.
You really enjoy it. And then he said maybe the first time you may not give your both of you may be holding back. You may not have your best performance, if you will.
Exactly.
You know, the second time, you know, you're gonna represent. You know, you're gonna make sure that it's right and everything's proper. You really gonna get it like you want it. He said by the third time, you're trying to be an all-star.
Hell yeah.
He said you're trying to put your stamp of approval on it. And he cracks me up with these stories. I can't lie. He cracks me up with these stories. So yeah, I had to ask that question.
So he's right. By the third time, it's when you like, if it's good, by the third time, you're all in.
Okay. All right. Last question before we get out of here. And this is a very deep and personal question. I'm going to get all in your business on this one. Man. And I've never asked you this before.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you this in front of everybody. Now, we've been friends. Me and you go back, like I said, we go back like 7-8 years. We've been friends for a long time. I've never asked you this question. Very personal, but like I said, I'm going to ask it anyway. Here's the question. Where is the Valley in Houston?
You know what? Fuck you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's an inside joke. But I had to set her up with it.
You got me, definitely.
It's an inside joke because obviously there are no valleys in Houston, but she sounds like she's from the valley. She don't sound like she's from Houston. So it's an inside joke that I've been running on her for like years. So that's the joke.
And I was really expecting like some deep, dope ass question.
Hey man, welcome to the 12 Kyle Podcast. We do things a little different around here.
Clearly.
Oh man, so ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning in. Before we get out of here, Q, tell people where they can find you. If you want to put your blog out there, tell them what I know you mentioned that the book is coming. You've already published the book before. Put your business out there, whatever business you want to put out there, Miss Private Lady.
Most of the time, you can catch me on Facebook or Instagram, just doing me. Facebook.com/L Chantay, Instagram @L Chantay. The blog is exploringqueen.blogspot.com.
Okay. Yeah, and for someone who says she's very private, she has 15
All
posts.
the social media.
Yeah, she got all the social media. She got all the posts. She got all the game. So she got
I got all the sauce too.
What, man? I mean, 15 selfies a day. I mean,
That's what I do. I post selfies, not my business.
I'll be on Instagram. I'll see a selfie. I'm like, damn, I just saw this selfie. Oh, that's another selfie. Okay.
Selfies, not my business.
Now, this is true. She doesn't. She will post selfies, not her business, all day long. So, man, as always, thank you, Chantay, for coming through. I definitely appreciate it, man. This has been fun. We got to do it again.
True. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
No problem. Hey, everybody listening, definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. You know how to catch me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, the podcast is on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Make sure that you subscribe and then, pass word. Tell a friend. That's going to do it for me. Once again, I got to thank my girl Chantay for coming through. We'll catch you guys next time. I'll holler at you. 5,000.